And thou mourn at last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. Proverbs 5:11. What the fuck was that, Jacob? Get that shit out of here. No. We're starting the 4th episode of Doom today, the one from the Ultimate Doom, Thy Flesh Consumed, and the title of the episode, as well as all of its names of the levels, come from Bible verses, so I'll be sharing those with you as they come up.
So if this is an addition to the game, where and when does this take place?
That's kind of confusing, because it does take place on Earth, supposedly. It's like kind of a weird in-between between Doom 1 and 2, but I don't know exactly where it lands in the canon. I think that's kind of dubious.
Man, I remember Eternal looking better than this.
Yeah, that came out yesterday as of recording this.
Wow, way to date it.
Well, fucking get ready to date this again. Get ready for that LP in like 2 years. Alright, so, Thy Flesh Consumed. I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but this is my favorite episode of Doom. First of all, it's hard as shit. This level in particular is very challenging just because of how poorly equipped you are. There's a lot of enemies, there's a lot of very strong enemies, and you don't get a lot of weaponry to fight them with, so you really have to use what you can find and traverse this relatively small level using just that. And this, unlike a lot of like uber hard Doom wads that are kind of known more today, whether it be from like Final Doom, which was an expansion of Doom 2 pretty much, or like any fan-made ones that are supposed to be super hard, it's not the number of enemies you fight, it's the actual level design. And I really love how Thy Flesh Consumed challenges you with that way. It's not just, oh, here's like a billion of the most annoying fucking enemy in the game, and go. It's, you gotta think about what you're doing, you gotta think about the arsenal you have, and you gotta think about how to get across shit without dying. And I really love that.
See, it's funny you say that, because yesterday, I heard someone railing against this episode nonstop.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know how popular of an opinion it is, but it is, you know, it's how I feel. I love this episode. It's my favorite to play. It's got such a nice level of challenge to it that I really appreciate. It also has a 9 Inch Nails logo right here. And then up.
Ah, yes, the Hall of Mirrors, yeah.
This glitch is actually super easy to recreate. When you step on the 9 Inch Nails logo there, the walls around you kind of come up. It's pretty much a death trap where you have to fight off these barons, and it's pretty impossible. But if you go back to this little cubby where you picked up your key, while the walls are rising, this happens and you can't get out.
So the 9 Inch Nails logo, I presume that's a reference to how Trent Reznor soundtracked Quake, right? Or was this before then? Is this why he soundtracked Quake?
It's definitely before Quake, and I actually didn't know that myself, so I don't know.
Also, the Hall of Mirrors is actually not a bug. You were seeing outside of the level because there was a gap in the geometry.
Sounds like a bug to me. Doesn't sound intentional.
It's not a bug, just poor design.
When with 15 health, we're almost out of this level. We just need to make it through that door. Oh great, 7 health.
It's fine, you're up to 12.
This episode will kick your entire ass, every inch of it. Ah!
That inch.
That inch, my ass. No, I turned around right before they got to the ass.
Ah, so I just kicked you in the nuts instead. I see.
Oh, God damn it. This is what happens when you don't glitch out the game. You just get surrounded by that wall. You do have to step on the 9 Inch Nails logo to trigger the secret, though, which does trigger the death trap, so you gotta get moving. Also, I haven't shared the verse for this episode, or this level. It's, this level's called Hell Beneath, and it is, the way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath, Proverbs 15:24. And we're done with it. Fucking hell, that level. It is the, like, far and away the hardest first level in Doom. And one of Doom's hardest levels in general.
Okay, so I think that's supposed to be a bone, but it looks like an earbud, like, slightly to the right of the middle.
That's also the background they use for the entirety of Doom 2. This one doesn't have a cool map like the other two levels, it just has that weird, goopy, bony thing.
Yeah, weird that.
So perfect hatred. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. That's from Psalms 139:22. And this level's also really small. Well, first of all, you're faced with a few cacodemons that you have to fight off with a shotgun from long range. There's a lot of lava down there. You don't want to fall, but there is a way up. That's a stairway that's also covered in lava. So you just need to watch your footing and be sure to hop across these little gaps as best you can.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a great example.
So you could show off that environmental suit.
And of course, I mentioned a few episodes earlier, this is the kind of floor that can seep through your radiation suit and hurt you every now and again. So of course it has to be that.
Also, I love seeing that collection of pinkies up top.
Yeah, we'll be dealing with those in due time.
There's something about what Doom Guy's face looks like right now. Reminds me a lot of Barney Greenway, the singer for Napalm Death.
I've never seen him before, but I absolutely believe you when you say he looks like that.
He just has slightly more hair. There's something about the level design. You can tell this was made after the regular Doom because it feels like there's a lot more detail.
There is a lot more detail. Die Flesh Consumed definitely messes around with the traditions of Doom a lot more. This was actually made after Doom 2 even. Like, Doom 2 came out in 1994. The Ultimate Doom came out in 1995.
Yeah, this definitely screams of something built for people who played Doom and know it, I guess.
It very much is. I adore being challenged by a good Doom level, and again, a lot of the Doom community's idea of hard, no hating of course, is just throwing a bunch of the most annoying enemies into a giant room, and just your job is to kill them all. This one actually works with level design a lot. Like having to fight these 3 Barons of Hell on a tiny little bridge.
So to be fair, it's the Doom community has played Doom a lot, so there's a certain level of expertise expected.
Of course.
Which is part of the problem.
So I'm looking at it. Quake came out in '96. You said Ultimate Doom came out in '95.
That is correct, yeah.
So maybe it was sort of concurrent. So maybe that was a reference to Trent Reznor soundtracking Quake.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, they could have just liked 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, that's the reason why half the music's the way it is, but that's also definitely possible. I actually didn't know that Trent Reznor did the music for Quake. I don't know shit about Quake. Actually, I really need to play that game.
You do. You definitely do.
Oh my god. Literally the only Quake game I've ever played is Quake Champions, which was fun. I enjoyed it. But doubt that's the most quintessential Quake experience.
No, it sure isn't. Don't get me wrong. Champions isn't bad, but it's not Quake.
But he plays BJ Blazkowicz, that's cool.
That is cool.
And I think Doom Guy. So another half of this level is in this weird craggedy cave. There's a lot, it's dark, and there's a lot of specters down there. And I don't think we have a chainsaw yet, so we're gonna have to watch out.
I personally, absolutely detest any of the flashing rooms.
Only that little river of lava is flashing. That's not so bad. But now we have the chainsaw, so the specters shouldn't be an issue, nor the cacos. Unless the specter dies at just the wrong time for the fireball to go through him and hit me.
I'm sure that'll never happen.
This may be... No, this is definitely not my least favorite episode of the... This is definitely not my least favorite level of the episode. I like how kind of cramped it is. And there's a set piece at the end of it. That's kind of fun. I actually do it completely wrong. I'll get to that when we get to it.
Okay.
Thy Flesh Consumed also loves to throw Barons of Hell at you. A lot. Gotta go all the way through this cave to get the blue key, which allows you to raise that pillar that leads up to those pinkies that we killed. But that's definitely not all that's up there. What's also up there is... Oh, see that cannon right there?
Oh, look at that rude son of a bitch right there.
I'm gonna save real quick. Doo-dah.
LP me dead.
Alright, so we got a Cyberdemon right here in a very small area, and also an army of Cacodemons also fighting us. Shit.
And also you fighting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Gotta make sure not to fall off, gotta make sure not to get hit too much by the Cacodemons. Or the rockets.
I'd argue the rockets are worse.
This is a good time to remind you guys that the Cyberdemon and the Spider Mastermind are both immune to blast damage, so the plasma gun is definitely a better weapon than the rocket launcher. But I'd argue the rocket launcher is more fun to fight him with. That's the whole reason I'm fighting the Cyberdemon right now. As I said, I'm doing this completely wrong. There's absolutely an easier way around this. After I kill the Cyberdemon the wrong way, I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Just ignoring him?
Well, you could do that, but...
You don't get anything for it?
Well, you do. There is something being hidden by that wall that you definitely want, but... I mean, my rule is, I see a Cyberdemon, I kill it, even if I don't really have to. Because I really love fighting the Cyberdemon. Alright, get these Cacodemons out of here. And now let's have a more fair fight. This is definitely not a purist Doom Let's Play, if that hasn't been obvious already. Like, it's purist in the way that, oh, it's got the original sprites, you can only aim left and right, but most Doom LPs are one run, no saving, or sometimes just pistol starting every level. I don't wanna.
A, pistol starting is tedious. B, the game is clearly meant to be played with saves.
Yeah, definitely. I have been playing Doom since I was 4, but I wouldn't say I'm amazing at it. I'm decent at best. Alright, but we killed the Cyberdemon. Let's see what I did wrong. That teleporter opened up earlier. Let's see where it leads. Oh, uh-oh. Gotta go. I have 200 health, so...
I think I know what's coming.
Yep. So, that teleporter leads to the room where the Cyberdemon is, and just as a reminder, telefragging is a thing. I could have killed that Cyberdemon in one hit.
The idea is not to fight the Cyberdemon, it's to be the Cyberdemon.
Of course.
I'm the Cyberdemon now.
Also, when you lower that wall that the Cyberdemon was being stopped by, the secret exit also opens up. So that leads to the one secret level of Episode 4. It's called Fear. It's the one level that actually does not have a Bible verse that's named after it. So I went to like a Bible searching website and just put in the word fear, and I'm going with the first verse that comes up. I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Genesis 2011.
It was almost really appropriate. Who's Doom Guy's wife?
I don't know.
The fuck does she do?
These demons are fucking trying to kill me because of her.
Doom Guy's wife is the shotgun.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's more like my wife will kill them.
Yeah, this level's okay. It's probably the easiest level of the entire episode. Not that my time in the level would indicate that. I actually spent way too long in here. I believe this recording here is my first time ever playing this level. Maybe that's why I took so long in it. It is definitely not as complicated as the time at the end of the level would indicate. Those giblets flying into the river. That's a fun little thing that Doom does. If an enemy is killed while at the foot of a ledge, there's a chance that the corpse will fly forward over the ledge. There's actually one thing that happened in Doom 2, which, by the way, check out in a couple weeks, because that'll probably just follow this immediately. Where it wasn't necessarily a ledge, it was just a slightly raised part of the floor. So it just looked like every other floor, but the corpse just flew in the opposite direction when I killed it.
The corpse was scared of Doom Guy. It saw what it did to it while it was alive.
Take me to a deeper circle of hell where you can't reach me.
Where there's more cushioning. The deeper you go, the softer rocks get.
That's the weird thing. The worse the torture gets, but the better the hotels are.
There's somebody right now thinking, oh, they're talking about my town. So you've been to San Diego.
Is it that bad?
I don't know. I went there once when I was like 8. The only thing I really remember about it is that there's water around there, and fighting foodons was on TV.
Oh, dope. Sounds like a good place to me.
Yeah, luckily I've never been to San Diego, but I have been to New York, so it's not much of an improvement. And Boston, I've also been to Boston.
Don't bring up Boston right now.
It's an open wound.
Oh god, both sides. Please leave me alone.
Also nice health.
Yeah. The only thing about Episode 4 is that it definitely does feel like it was made after Doom 2 because of the advancements in level design. And that makes me wish that it was in Doom 2 so it could take advantage of the new, like, slightly improved engine as well as, like, the new enemies and the new weapon and such. This is an interesting segue into the PlayStation and Saturn versions of Doom, which were kind of retooled. They actually included Doom 2 enemies in Doom 1 levels. Since they weren't able to put the entirety of either campaign in, they kind of mixed features from both games into one big long campaign that includes levels from both Doom 1 and 2. And the Doom 2 enemies in Doom 1 kind of added a lot to it. I kind of wish that that could happen with this episode too.
Though it does make me think, I'm kind of paying attention. Is the level still designed so that nothing is overlapping because it's all technically still 2D?
Yes.
That's an engine limitation.
Yeah, that's not necessarily like a limitation of the talent of the game designers. That's literally the Doom engine. That's the same thing in Doom 2. There has no overlapping floors anywhere.
Same thing with build engine games up until Blood. Which, Blood is really good. Highly recommend that.
So this yellow key is the reason I spent so long in this level.
Oh
I just couldn't find it for some reason. I'm a fucking idiot.
It's a dumb spot.
A little bit. And this is also the first time I played this level, so... Let's grab a few more secrets and get the shunk out of here. One here, Berserker Pack, far too late for it to be useful. I think I've already killed everything. And in here is the exit, a shotgun guy, and our last secret, which is a backpack. I don't know if I already had one, so that's nice.
Seriously, look at it. Like, to the right of that center skull, it looks like an earbud.
Kind of the center to the above to the right, kind of looks like a ball sack. Anyway, sever the wicked.
It's an earbud.
So shall it be the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from amongst the just. Matthew 13:49. This level is super interesting. First of all, bad news is there are technically, 22 secrets in this level. The good news is, 19 of those secrets are the same stairway.
Okay.
And worse news, 2 of them are not accessible without no clipping.
What?
Huh.
Okay, so I'm assuming everything you just said was an oversight?
I guess. Well, the oversight definitely for the 2 secrets you can't access without no clipping, because they're not even, like, secrets. It's not like it's a room that's hidden outside the map or anything. It's literally 2 pieces of the environment you can't walk into to trigger the secret. The stairwell, I don't know. I guess maybe they just didn't expect people to actually see where the secrets were triggered, because in the original Doom version, that little, like, dong that happens when you find a secret, that wasn't there. I think that's just an addition of either source ports or later versions of Doom. Like, if you just played the regular DOS version of Doom straight off of Steam with no mods or anything, that doesn't happen when you get a secret. So, when we're going up those stairs, it'll just be like, dong, da, 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 dong. I guess this is my least favorite level. It's okay, but it's just not particularly interesting to look at or play. It's kind of basic. Plus the bugginess of the secrets and the strangeness of it. It's more of something to talk about than to play, I guess.
It definitely makes it seem a bit half-baked.
Even looking at it, it does look like there was the least amount of time spent on it.
Yeah. There's little bits that kind of hint that Ultimate Doom may have been rushed a little bit. Or at least the 4th episode. I can't confirm or deny that. That said, again, it's still my favorite episode of Doom. But still, it has a little bit of rough around the edgedness to it.
It doesn't look too much different from the base game. So,
Right, because it's still a Doom 1 episode. It's not like we're gonna see Doom 2 features anywhere in here or have too much outside of what you normally see in Doom. It's just more Doom 1, essentially. Just harder. A lot harder.
And an issue I had with some of the later episodes of Doom was always that the levels could get like a bit labyrinthine and samey. And that wasn't an issue for the first few of these, at least from what I saw here. Those seemed fine, but this one is another one of those kind of messy ones, I guess.
It is more labyrinthine than the last few episodes, than the last few levels. I don't know if I've just remembered this one a lot, but I never have a hard time navigating this one. I usually know exactly where to go. That may just be my memory rather than just a statement of the level's design itself.
And it's definitely less confusing than some of the episode 2 and 3 levels, but also it's just... I'm having trouble telling shit apart at this point.
Right. This is probably the most samey looking level in the episode. It's the most indicative of episodes 1 through 3. Episode 4 typically stands on its own because of how much later it was made. The labyrinthine levels are not nearly as common. It's more just look around, try not to die, get to the end.
well then, now I'm wondering if this was a leftover from the original game.
Maybe. That's certainly a possibility.
I could just look this shit up. I'm gonna do that.
All right. The Doom Wiki is actually very good, both the one on fandom.com as well as the doomwiki.com. They're both very informative.
For all your Doomslayer knowledge.
Yes. Also, your spoilers in the suggested articles column. Here's the stairwell. And this room is the final secret.
Yeah, it definitely seems very half-baked. Also, did you just ignore the sphere? Okay.
I wanted to make sure I got every stair. Alright, Alright, nothing in here. Okay, this red key is the only thing I tend to have a hard time finding. Though it's probably like the yellow key in the last one, where I remember how much of a hard time I had finding it, so I never have that hard time again.
Why did they leave me here?
Yeah, why is there just that one imp there? There's probably more things there on Ultraviolence. Hi! Ow. Could have jumped over a lot more of that lava if I didn't hit my shoulder on the wall. Ooh.
Oh man, stairs. Maybe these have more secrets.
That's the only time in Doom 1 that happens. Emphasis on Doom 1. Here's our exit. It's actually possible to cheese that part and actually just run to the exit like way earlier than I had to. And here are the two secrets. 1, 2. Let's turn on no clip and then activate him.
What?
Okay, it's not this one. It's another one of these candle lights here. Ah. There. It is impossible to trigger these. You can run into them all day. You will never trigger those two secrets. That's why in official like speed runs and demos and stuff, you can completely exclude those and still consider it a 100% run.
Yeah, that seems incredibly jank.
It is, but
And definitely lends to the half-baked feeling.
it is. I forget. I feel like there's one more time in this episode that something like that happens, but I don't remember. I don't remember if I'm thinking of Doom 2, but regardless, it's unfortunately not the last time in this series that happens.
That's a shame.
But next time, the levels start getting assholier and unholier. I didn't plan that. I wish I did. It made me feel smart. But we will finish off the Ultimate Doom in the next episode.
I'm gonna look up where ass is in the Bible, because I know there is.
Yeah, I remember that from fucking the Angry Video Game Nerd, where he reviewed that Game Boy game that's just the King James Bible, and then searched the word ass. It's absolutely there, typically referring to donkeys.
Yeah. And the ass saw the angel. I know that one. Because Nick Cave quoted it, but...
In the ass of the angel.
I like how he sang that as, like, Creed Man. Who absolutely did not sing that song.
With ass wide open.
Oh, no. Take us home with one more good ass quote, Thorn.
I can't find one. It's just assembled. I even typed ass and a space, and all I got was pass.
God damn it. That was an appropriate time to say God damn it, but still. Good night, everybody.